how did you get involved in being such a spiritual, meditation and finding this energy within people?
It's something that I've done since I was young. I could see dead people when I was young.
Oh my God.
My earliest memories is like the veil between, our physical realm and all things outside of it has always just kind of been one of the same. It was very unrefined. I had no idea what I was doing. I grew up in Texas where like God and football is everything.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it was fostered in the sense of
That's good.
it's not an intimidating thing to be connected to spirituality or God, the universe. So
Yo, it's your boy. It's your host, Phil Wham Bam Benamino. It's another Wham Bam Wednesday. You know, the show about ordinary people who've done extraordinary things. And as always, we're going to ask first, please subscribe. Click the button down there. Hit the like button, subscribe, share it, tell some people about it, and make sure you hit the alert so you get all the alerts for our shows. Today's guest, we are in Las Vegas, baby. We are here. We have one of the most sought out after, I don't want to call her median, but I'll tell you what, she does know a lot of things. She's a spiritual. She works off of energy. She's a published author. She's certified through Harvard. We got Jessica Stone in the house. Hi, Jessica. How are you today?
I'm so good. I love your energy.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Well, how can I not have energy when I got an energy expert here in the house? You know?
The vibes are good.
The vibes are good.
I'm really happy to be here.
Thanks for taking the time to come here. I mean, obviously, you are so sought out. I mean, I remember, I think I met you 5 or 6 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
I did a tarot reading with you. And, it was like, it was really awesome. And I remember that specifically and how well you nailed everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I need to get another appointment with her. Yeah, you got to call like 3 months in advance to schedule a time. You're booked, man. So congratulations to you.
Thank you so much. I feel very fortunate to like do my work and like absolutely love it. So
that's great.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about it. How did you get involved in being such a spiritual, meditation and finding this energy within people?
Yeah, it's something that I've done since I was young. I could see dead people when I was young.
Oh my God.
However,
how young were you?
My earliest memories is like the veil between, our physical realm and all things outside of it has always just kind of been one of the same. It was very unrefined. I had no idea what I was doing. I grew up in Texas where like God and football is everything.
Oh, yeah.
So it was fostered in the sense of,
That's good.
it's not an intimidating thing to be connected to spirituality or, God, the universe. So it was always just a personal practice. And, I'm a pretty dynamic human as far as like I'm very normal. I'm not too hippy dippy. So I just assumed I did not ever.
Why does that go with that? Why does the word hippy dippy go with being spiritual and energy and everything? Why is that?
I think it is. It's like the spiritual path. Like some like to live it probably one dimensional. I'm a very multi-dimensional person where what's close to my heart is living fully and like loving life. And for me, that is being a bunch of different things, being a mom, a friend, a complete like dumpster fire, like messing up everything and having the best time doing it. And also deeply coming into like, again, I have a very reverent spiritual practice that is the core of my being, but all these other things are equally as important.
So listen, you're a child and all of a sudden you have this spiritual belief that you saw somebody or you felt this dead person.
Yeah.
And what was that like? Like, what was the first time? Did you share this with anybody or did you keep it to yourself?
I would call them the oily people. Like, and I think I was seeing like auras. And so, it was just this thing that was kind of like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just knew right away then that I got a special gift and I can channel into the spirits and energy and different things.
Yeah, and I think, we all have a purpose or like a gift, It's like obviously already I can tell in like these 20 seconds, like, oh my God, you are so charismatic and like probably light up on camera. However, like if someone like in basketball, like someone can be so natural talent. However, those who like practice at it and really dedicate themselves to. And I think probably the biggest thing I'm proud of in my life is like my dedication to my work.
Mm-hmm.
And, the energy I put towards it is truly like what has refined it into what it is. And I think why it's so sought after and so normalized. I work with like all the big corporations, celebrities, and it's because I'm so dedicated to my work and I show up completely 100% like with all myself.
Well, let's just say what it is. You're really good at it too.
Oh, thank you. But it takes again, it's like anything we do.
Sure.
I think talent takes you so far, and then just like really like honoring what
Well,
you're
you're
working on.
dedicated. You're definitely dedicated. Is a huge word. How many readings do you do a day? How many people do you visit? Do you speak with? Do you actually have sessions with?
Probably only like 1 to 2.
Okay.
I'm well aware that, there is a difference between, obviously I'm one person. And so that's a limited, obviously, resource.
Right.
And then there's other ways that I do my work that, allow more people to access it through a private online community. I do a lot of I live on the West Coast, a lot of events,
Yeah.
brand deals, like that whole thing. So it allows that kind of heart and soul of my work, private sessions, which if I could, I would do it all day long. However, I'm a mom and breadwinner. There's more intelligent ways to work and build a business.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but people obviously, spend the money and the time because they want the results. They want the results, and you actually can give them a clear path of what to do.
Yeah.
There's especially the way the world is today. Even it's getting worse and worse. People are constantly looking for answers and things, and how do we do this? And you're a person that actually can provide some answers to people, and that's a huge blessing in itself. But it's cool that you've been able to actually make a business and a career out of it as well.
Yeah, I kind of I think like all of us, like your creative side and then your like more business side, where both I enjoy both equal amounts, and I would say I definitely not as I'm probably such a little like guppy in my business career where it's something I deeply enjoy and I admire, even, again, I read your book. I know it's for kids, but I was like,
it's for beginners. It's for beginners.
I'm a beginner. I'm a beginner, and
listen,
it's so fun being a novice.
There you go.
And so in business, I think 10 years from now, I'll hopefully be sitting in some massive position there, but I'm really comfortable with where it's at now, but being I'm having so much fun growing this and there's so much potential in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think of the book?
I needed it. I think there's a lot of it. I'm actually
best $20 you'll ever spend. I tell you,
I loved it, and my kids and I were laying out in the front yard, and I was reading it to them, and
That's
they're
awesome.
just "What are you talking about?" And they're like, "You're so serious about life." I was like, "No, guys, pay attention."
That's right. There's rules. You gotta have rules.
But actually, I liked it. My daughter was the penny thing. How she actually was explaining to me pretty well on how you can. I'm gonna butcher this too, and but. How you can explain to me, because I'm going to butcher how you can
you take a penny and you double it every day for a month.
Yes.
And you have over $5 million.
Yeah, she was explaining the math on it. And I was like, oh, you're so smart. So, yeah.
But it's funny because, I've learned, I've done a lot of coaching and I do a lot of mentoring with kids, and I've done it in the past. And I've learned that, through that, these kids now that they're becoming young adults, they're working. Some of them are athletes and are making pretty good money.
Yeah.
They don't know what to do with the money.
Yeah.
And, and of course, people are afraid of losing it. First thing they want to do is go buy new shoes and new cars and everything else. And it's like, whoa. That's the last thing you should do.
Yeah.
When you're that young, you need to use it as a tool to help you get more money and stuff. So, if kids follow that stuff, especially at a young age, I talked right from the newborns. That's why I said, baby coming out of the womb, you can start, saving money right then and there, which is a cool thing.
Well, and I like what you said about using money as a tool, because I think anybody who hasn't had maybe education and money from their family or from, whatever schooling, at least even bringing money into the energetic sense, it is just an energy, and, it's it could be a tool, and that's really cool to think of it like that.
It's a tool. It's a tool.
Not like a physical item, because I think people want to hold to it or attach to it or are afraid of it. I find in my work, people have a lot of money energy issues where it's I don't know. And so it is just simply a tool to get from A to B.
It's like anything else. You got liabilities and assets.
Yeah.
And can you use it for an asset or do you use it for a liability?
Yeah.
And that's what, a lot of times just thinking of it that way, saying, hey, if you buy a car, that's a liability.
Yeah.
Because you could smash it. It's going to depreciate. A lot of bad things can happen for it. So probably not the best buy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You buy some gold, it can appreciate. It's
Yeah.
actually an asset. It's going to go up.
Yeah.
So you can, there's other ways to utilize your money to be smarter about it. But
Yeah.
nobody teaches it to kids in
Yeah.
school. They learn calculus. They learn how to dissect a frog.
Yeah.
But they don't know what to do with the money.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I put every last dime of mine that I make into my kids or back into my business. Because I always am like, that's probably like my greatest asset. How I see it is
Mhm.
like any dollar I make, I want to put back into this because then it has the potential to make more dollars. Is
Absolutely.
that correct?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, cool.
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
I tell people all the time, it's not with what you have, it's what you do with what you have.
Yeah. And I'm
And
like,
that's
well,
the
I know
important
me.
thing.
So like the risk is low because I'm like, well, I know I'll still show up the next day.
There
so
you
I'm
go.
like,
That's
there
right.
you go, low risk. Yeah.
So let's get back into your tarot reading. So,
Yeah.
tell me about the first time you started using tarot cards
Yeah.
and how that worked for you.
So tarot is so cool, and I recommend anybody, even if you, because I don't know who your audience is, but I would assume probably more like even more masculine, like guy based.
Yeah, we have it all, man. We have all
Okay.
kinds of. We got from 18 to 65.
Yeah, so tarot is basically it's the hero's journey. It's we all play out archetypes. So whether we are like the winner or the loser, you're playing poker and you end up the loser that day, you end up the winner another time. We are, you're a father, a friend. We're all these different archetypes, right? And it's not that actually complicated. You can kind of narrow down life through that. And you have the hero's journey, meaning we all go through a series, a lesson plan in life. So if you follow any movie from Star Wars to, like Pocahontas, as they're actually following a hero's journey. So our lives are pretty laid out. And so people are like, oh, it's so complex. And yes, we're all so different. Yet it's really easy to mathematically track what's going to happen in life.
Mm-hmm.
So tarot is basically those archetypes and with all the variables that take place to a certain extent. So, so it's a really amazing way to map your subconscious and map technically your future. And I got into it in college, like, taking shots and reading tarot, having a good time. Again, it was,
Where'd you go to school? Where'd you go to college?
I just went to like an art school.
Okay.
Yeah. Later did I do like more adult stuff.
Gotcha. Well, I know you got a little degree from Harvard,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
It's certified through assisted therapies.
Yeah.
However, I'm very proud of it because again, I think any education is incredible.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so I started reading tarot and, just being in a business brain, people would say like, hey, like I want to buy a tarot deck. And I was like, wait, there's a market there. Why am I selling someone else's tarot deck? And that's when I created my own.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that it's just an amazing practice, but it's more masculine, meaning more subconscious, more what we're producing out on earth instead of like the energetic or intuitive imaginary land that everything in this room came from originally.
Right.
Yeah.
The funny thing about tarot is anybody can do it, right?
Yes.
Realistically.
Yeah.
You don't obviously you're really good at it, but you can be trained at it. It's all about reading the actual cards.
Yeah. I think everybody should, everyone should have a tarot set of, it goes beyond our emotions and our quick thinking. So you sit there obviously in an environment that you can drop in and you pull some tarot cards actually thinking about, you want to actually think about like, oh, do I want to be taking this job offer? Like allow that energy to take place. And, the theory of every single thing happens perfectly in divine order. It takes place very much just in front of you in simplistic like manner to have an answer and to confidently move through life.
Now, do you believe that 100%, that it doesn't ever fail you?
Yeah, I do not believe, I think every single thing in life happens perfectly.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even bother spending an ounce of energy thinking any other way.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Why can't we all think like that?
I think fear.
Fear.
Or past.
It is fear. No, you're right. Fear is a big thing. And fear is the devil just talking to our minds.
Exactly.
And creating that stuff. So
yeah. And when you kind of
I second guess myself all the time.
Yeah. And there's no reason to because there is you need awareness, you need wisdom. And that's where paying attention to what's actually going on. There's a lesson in everything. There's a reason behind it. And it's like, what is this symbolically showing? And once you start viewing it that way, instead of why it's happening, be like, this is just feedback in real time from the universe. It gets really simple to understand life.
What happens though when you pull the bad cards?
Which ones are bad?
I don't know. The ones like death, you know?
Death card is great.
So why do they call it a death card then?
Because
I'm like afraid of the death card.
and I get it. Like that word scares some people. It rarely would ever mean you're going to leave your physical body. It is so important to have deaths. We drag things on. You know when it's time to end something, and we're like, I got that luggage from yesterday. Those 4 people. Like, what's dragging here? How it is okay to end something. So a new season can begin. So you have the space. Imagine like having all the leftovers in your fridge. You have no room for new food, and it's just building up. Have to get comfortable. Have to get comfortable with death. It's like I hope daily there's deaths happening in my like time and space, because then it's room for new, and we can't have anything new until we get rid of the old. There is a max capacity.
So you're talking about like my son who hoards all of his clothes and stuff that he can't wear anymore. He should get rid of them. We should consider that a death.
Is his passion clothes though? I don't know. If it's your passion, then you don't get rid of your passion. Yeah.
It's funny though, because you're right. When you see that card and you identify the word death, you immediately think bad.
Yeah.
From that. So that's kind of interesting. It's a new twist on it.
And I think you can once you get comfortable with death in one physical form, you probably don't ever have to fear life or death again, because once you get comfortable with deaths and rebirths constantly, you start to see that there's nothing to fear and not holding on,
Right.
So I think it's just a beautiful practice of, just wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about this spiritual, the concept of how we can lean into our own spiritual guide, type of thing.
Yeah. It's like I'm obviously a big fan of spirituality, but it's like I 100% believe in God. I think there's a larger purpose.
Absolutely.
And we are all connected to it. I think it's naive to think you're anything bigger than it, right?
All right, we're just visitors here.
We're just visitors, and someone is actually truly, deeply, someone or something is taking deep care of us. And that's where actually life gets so relaxing, because you're like, who am I to try to play God? Who am I to even try to control anything when there's something much more larger than me completely taking care of me?
Do you let anything upset you?
Oh,
I can just tell, like, your energy's coming off so strong. It's like, you're such a good person.
I'm such a motherfucker, though. I'm ruthless. I love getting upset and but it's like not real. But I don't mind spice. I love spice.
Yeah.
But it's not actual no, nothing really upsets me.
Nothing really upsets you.
But I do enjoy
you're like, okay, it is what it is. I'm good.
Yeah.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah. But so as far as I don't believe that. No, I don't think we are God, how we're a connection to it, but we cut ourselves short on our intelligence. And that's really what I like to focus on is our ability to have intelligence of what's actually taking place. That intelligence around, hey, if there is something bigger than me, why not just chill out and relax and show up for the best of it? Knowledge is power. And so probably what I teach more is knowledge instead of how to become God or the most spiritual. It's
right.
Once you have knowledge, you have a better relationship with all things happening in your life.
What about when you find the bad news, though, and you feel some negative, you feel some bad energy off of somebody? What do you do? I mean, you have to share, especially if they're paying you for something. I mean, you have to share that information.
People.
What's the worst information you had to give out?
Ooh. There's a lot of it's time to break up. And they'll come back a year or two later and be like, it's still time. Still time. But it's also it's fine that it hasn't happened yet. We learn at our own pace. But I think probably the worst news would be...
why is that? I want to go back to the relationship thing. Why is that people don't want to let go sometimes when, they're hearing the signs and they're really not happy?
Yeah.
And they're two different people. Why is it? Why?
I think we, our brain wants to stay alive, so it knows better to cling to yesterday than go into the unknown. And that's probably the reality of it. I also think God,
that's really good. That's really well said.
All of us really, really deeply, I've never met a person who isn't a beautiful soul or loves deeply. And so we all care. And so there's always that hope. There's always that love there at our own detriment sometimes. But also, like, the worst way to hurt somebody is by not honoring yourself, by cutting off things or moving forward or having those tough conversations. So it's actually a better act of love, I find, to, speak honestly, as uncomfy as it is, in those middle grounds. But
Is it
that's just
easier for
practice.
women or men
For what?
to break up, get rid of the love?
Ooh, I don't know. I think more like a guy. I actually don't even know that's true. I've never been a guy in this
I think it's
life.
got to be harder for guys.
To break up with a girl?
No, because if a girl breaks up with them, because we got egos, we feel
Yeah,
bad. It's
true.
like, wait a second, she didn't like me. She
Oh,
found something
yeah.
better. Or,
I find guys to
what's
be,
wrong with me?
I find guys, I
Girls
think
just move on.
I think girls are putting way too much thought into guys. You guys are so easy and simple and lovely, and if you just let you guys be you, it's really fine. It's like when it's like, well, I'm not happy with this in my life, or I need this or that. It's like, you guys aren't thinking that deep. You're just genuinely. I find guys to be, I don't want to call it simpler, but straight to the point. There's not as many games and complexities.
Right.
So, yes, I would find it harder for a guy to be broken up with because they're like, what was that about?
Right. Exactly. What happened? Why?
Yeah.
You know,
And girls,
what did I
like,
do?
we have such tribes where we're like, and this is why. And we get to be in the emotions forever and be like, no,
I want my
as
man to do
painful as
this.
it
I
is.
want my man to make that.
Yeah.
He's going to take care of me.
And as he should, but also then I think if you are asking a guy to take care of you, you better be bringing it whatever his list of demands are. So I think that doesn't. I have like, I'm a firm believer like guys should be providers and caretakers. I think
I believe that too.
I think
100%.
it's your natural role,
Sure.
like biologically. However, though, as the female, it is our job to be completely happy and satisfied in our life and show up in that feminine energy, that sexual energy, that place that gives energy into a male for him to provide more. So it goes both ways. It can't be like nagging at a guy all the time,
Right.
because then that's pulling the energy. So if you see it as an energetic place, a like infinity sign, it has to be going back and forth. And that's where I think the bar on guys is too high, where I think just
It's
genuinely
funny.
make yourself happy and you can make a guy happy.
It's funny that we're saying this because I actually got a good friend of mine who's in a relationship right now. And honestly, he's trying, like the guy works hard.
Yeah.
He busts his butt. He's really trying to be that person for her.
Yeah.
But she wants A level right now. And
Yeah.
he's growing. He's trying to get to
Yeah.
A level. You know what I'm saying? He's
And
trying.
also,
and
like
it's just
meeting
unfortunate, but it's like she's just beating him down. And I'm like, man, I don't like that at all.
Yeah, and meeting people where they're at too, because that's the thing is like, I think a way a guy grows and creates that life is so culturally like pushed upon us is with a strong, confident woman fueling that energy into him. It's literally an energy exchange. So I think, again, if a woman is in her power and knows how to give that energy into the masculine, he knows how to put it out into the world. But obviously there's a time thing. It takes, it's like in my own business, I'm like, God, I'm on year like, I don't know, like 8. And I'm like, I'm still scratching the surface. So imagine if I was like a provider or a man, I'd be like, I'm crushing it. Yeah, I have like nothing to my name because I put it all in my business.
Right.
In the most
You got a
beautiful
lot.
way.
Yeah. Of course.
So does that make sense? So it's like, you guys are trying and we're trying. Everyone's trying. I don't know.
So what is the worst thing you had to give somebody? We got off that. I want to get that answer besides breaking up. Like if you had to tell anybody like, listen, man, it's not looking too good for your outlook.
You know what?
You're gonna get sick. Some bad things are about to happen.
I would say the hardest thing would be around, the physical places.
You're not feeling anything around me right now, right? Nothing's good. Just want to make sure here. Or am I safe for a little bit? We good.
Your aura is infinite. You are fine.
That's good. That's
today.
good to know. Today.
Today.
God.
I'd say the only part where I would say is hard in my work is if there's something physically going on where, it's like our health is like, it's tough when you're not feeling good and it's tough when you're sick or it's tough when a loved one, like it is like their physical body is deteriorating. So that is tough because like when things enter, in the energetic realm, it can be like, okay, you need to work on this or change these things. Energy moves so quick and is, malleable. But when something hits the physical form, whether it's sickness or anything, you're in a dense, like gravitational pull that no praying or miracle will get you out of it. If you're sick, you're sick and you have to it's either time or our bodies are temporary. So that is really painful from the human experience,
Yeah. It brings me back to old people. getting older and stuff and seeing them. I love old people.
Yeah.
I just find them because all they want to do is they want somebody, they want to be known. They want to be cared for. They want somebody to talk to them and just say hello.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like they want to have a purpose.
Yeah.
I guess is the main word. And some of these old people, they feel like they don't have a purpose anymore because, they can't do the things they might have been able to used to do one time.
Yeah.
And I watched that with my dad, of course. And, I see it a lot, but it's horrible when you think about it because it really is a circle of life. Because as you get to a certain age, you can only do so much. And your mind tells you can do so many things, but your body doesn't go with the mind. And it doesn't allow you. And
and so that thing where you're actually physically limited, and again, we could be like, oh, I really want to fly like with my arms, but like that's kind of like it's a physical limitation. But to actually be like, oh, my mind's starting to slip or my body's starting to slip, that is, I think, like a pain of life because then you could have regret or, the what ifs, which is why I'm like such a firm believer of like whoever you are, like today is. You should live life so completely to the fullest. And like, honestly, because, if someone out there is sick.
What does that mean, to the fullest?
Okay. So living your truth, whatever that is. And again, trusting that most people are good natured, integral to a certain extent, that trusting however somebody else is living is best for them exactly where they're at. Because, when it's like when you're having a healthy day or when you're having a day where you have the opportunity to be on a podcast or have the energy to create something, do it because there's somebody out there with the exact, the universe is completely in opposites. There's someone out there with such limiters. There's someone with not an able body. There's someone who doesn't have creativity yet. And so it's like bless your day and also bless somebody who's very sick because they're taking that on for the world.
Amen.
And like, thank God that's not me today. So live completely in your truth. Live completely however you want to, not, we all know what regret is. We all know when procrastination hits. We all know fear. And so basically moving through those.
Yeah. People always say, YOLO, right? You only live once. And I kind of hate that phrase because I tell people, no, you only die once.
Yeah.
You live every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Type of thing.
That one, that's good.
Yeah. You like that one. See, you can use that.
Yeah.
But it's true. It's like, hey, you live every day. So live every day to its fullest. Kind of saying the same thing. But yeah, you're only going to die once. So you might as well make the best of it. But it's unfortunate because there are a lot of things that happen in people's lives that you can't control.
Yeah.
And those hit up. They hit people up all the time. And I'm sure that's when your phone starts ringing and saying, hey, I need some answers.
Yeah.
People get stuck. They get in a rut. Life's not going so well. Finances are falling.
Yeah.
Maybe the loved ones aren't responding like they were. And they're coming to you for some support, some help.
Yeah.
It's got to be really hard. You're like a doctor.
No, I feel completely comfortable in the human experience.
Yeah.
And like, it's, a lot of my work, it's not, it's different when it's like my child's coming to me because I'm so emotionally connected. It's easier when there's a disconnect because you are genuinely showing up, just working with the energy, not your emotional connection or your personal, maybe like manipulation or benefits of the outcome.
Right.
Hi, I'm Phil Benamino, CEO and founder of Cost Plus Processing, the company that provides financial services to your business. We provide things such as POS systems, ATM machines, and check services. One of the biggest things that we strive ourselves here at Cost Plus Processing is our customer service. We are an A+ rated with the BBB with customer service, and we're proud to say we're here in the United States with all of our customer service agents. Our objective is to actually teach you and educate you about the costs that you're currently paying and show you ways where you can eliminate those costs that you no longer have to pay. One of the biggest programs that are out there today is our dual pricing program, where you actually can offer your customers now a choice of how they want to pay. Do they want to pay with cash or do they want to pay with card? And if they pay with card, it actually helps you to absorb the card fees, so you no longer have to pay the fees like you've done for many, many years. Cost Plus Processing aligns ourselves with some of the top POS companies out there in the industry today. For example, we have perfected the car dealership industry, and our dedicated team are equipped to manage a variety of online payment forms and financing options that merchants require in this advanced ecosystem of payments. If you have a restaurant, we are proud to be able to manage the ongoing difficulties that arise from this fast-paced industry, and you're looking for pay at the table, where customers can easily swipe their cards, tap their cards, and make their payments with tip and also have a choice of how they want to pay, we have the solutions for you here at Cost Plus. We want to help other small business owners make their dreams come true by providing the best financial support. From barbershops to liquor stores, having the ability to take payments, schedule online, and make calculating tip sharing an easy task only helps business owners put more attention and money into what really matters the most. Also, Cost Plus Processing is on the front end of AI. We can also provide you kiosks for your business, so customers can walk over to the kiosk and order anything that they want. Likewise, if you're having problem getting employees in the kitchen to work, we can also provide you robots that will actually deliver your food straight to the customer. I want to thank you for the time that you took to learn a little bit about Cost Plus Processing, and most importantly, why we are the future of merchant processing.
What is your feelings on emotional connections?
In regards to what?
Well, in regards to, is that more important than physical connections?
As far as like relationships?
Yeah.
Emotional? You want my honest opinion?
Yes. Don't lie to me, please.
I think physical connection is so important. I think sexual chemistry is so important if you're going to have a relationship over emotional connection.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, I just find that important because I think that's just my belief.
So let me ask you watch The Bachelor at all?
Yeah, sometimes.
So what do you think about that when the girl doesn't want to go overnight and take that night, but yet then they want to get engaged?
I always assume though they're like, oh my God, like either my employee's gonna like fire me or like my grandma's watching this, where it's like some ulterior motives. I just think at the end of the day, our bodies are built for reproduction. So the best outcome for a long-term relationship probably is sexual connection because that is what your body's built for. So you have the best foot forward. And then two people can emotionally grow. Two people can like emotionally connect, work on themselves, like do the therapy, do the things, and have that there. I also don't even know if I believe in like monogamy per se, like in the sense of like, I don't know if even only two people should be together. I think we live in such a dynamic world that like, it's limiting. It'd be like you can only have chicken for the rest of your life. Yes, it's nutritional and healthy and important, but so I have a little bit of like more broad beliefs.
I kind of like that beliefs. I'm not gonna lie.
I think all my people
but then you got to think about it both ways as well.
Well, exactly. That's jealousy. Got to work on that.
Sure,
and it's huge.
Of course.
But yeah, no, I think any dynamic people who are really like expansive in life. It's how could one person satisfy people who like are not satiated by just the mundane? And now I'm speaking in a context that is just one way of thinking because there's also a whole population that are like, no, I feel good in my comfort zone. I feel good in my place. And that is equally important as well. And if I ever get a relationship, ignore this whole conversation. Actually, wait, we might need to cut this out. Wait a second, I'm going to sound so shady.
No, I'm just, I'm thinking about too. Like, so it's okay, you should sleep around.
You change me, baby. You change me, baby.
See? It's fine. Yeah, I mean, basically you're saying you should sleep around, should try out a little bit of everything. You like chocolate some days you want vanilla. It's okay.
And I have like friends that have beautiful long-term relationships that are open and I love it, but also it's as equal of work as every which way is work.
Yeah.
And in having a secondary human or kids or parents or friends, it's a lot more difficult than independence, so the dynamic of multiple people in any which way pushes us. And that's the beauty of the human connection.
So let me ask you real quick. What's your favorite thing to eat?
Steak. And
what's your favorite color?
White.
See, so you still have a favorite though. So you could go ahead and be with other people, but you still have a favorite.
You should. That's where I think like there's a difference between not being able to do emotional depth and primary relationships. And like within that though, so I think within those places, anything going on should be to further understand and explore the primary relationship, or else it gets in that place of like, shoot, am I not emotionally connecting, or am I like not able to like drop in with somebody and go into those depths? However, whatever their preference is within that, I think is for every human to decide. And we're living a really long time now. And so Yeah.
I'm living a long time.
You're living a long time.
I like to feel it. Thank you.
Yeah.
That makes me feel good.
Infinite aura.
Because I almost died several years ago, so that's good to know. I've been fighting this whole thing. So
Probably did die in some ways.
yeah,
Probably.
I definitely died in some ways.
Yeah.
Definitely died. Try to evolve and grow every day.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
About it. I got some questions. So I did have some questions that were brought out that wanted me to ask you because I told them that you were coming today. What are some practical steps people can take to manifest their goals?
Ooh, okay. So manifestation. So everyone's heard of manifestation.
Yeah. Do you believe in it?
1,000%.
Yeah.
However, see it like this. I'm gonna break it down so it's like easy. So imagine like a red Solo like beer pong cup across the room, right? One, you have to know where you're going. So it's like that's your goal. So you have that cup across the room, then you have a ping pong ball. This is where it gets important because people get caught up of like, okay, I want to make $1 million. And so they're shooting it. They might be shooting it for 3 months and 0% success rate has taken place. So then they get rid of it or their brain's like, you can't do it, or they just give up. But statistically speaking, so manifestation is like, it is 0% chance until it's 100%. So at that point, seeing it in a different way of like, I'm just not sitting here dreaming and hoping and realizing nothing will happen. Move around the room. You need to be making sure you're making shots, meaning it's going to miss. It might take 9 months. It might take 10 years, but it will go in. And at that point, you're 100% going to get it. So manifestation is 100% real, but are you working towards it? Not trying to, like, yes, it's always a goal, but you can move around the room. You can position yourself and have that confidence of knowing statistically everything will come true. It just takes earth time.
Yep.
Secondary from that is we have our thinking brain and our heart. They create an energetic portal out from us. You have to make sure you love wherever you're manifesting, and you have to make sure you are thinking about it. Because if the head and the heart are in the same place energetically, and this is the more like esoteric part, you're going to send mixed signals out. So like, I really want a sports car. You're like, I actually don't care about a sports car. Someone told me I wanted a sports car.
Right.
Or like, I so deeply desire, a boyfriend. Yeah, I don't leave my house.
Right.
It's like you've got to have things online and in relation.
Sure.
Yeah.
Obviously, you got to act as if too.
Yeah.
Act as if you're already that person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Walk around with that. Put them shoulders up high and act as though you've already manifested.
And acting means like putting energy towards something. Everything is an energy exchange.
Right.
So that's where the feminine is of that like idea, and the masculine is showing up for it, not looking for result or outcome, because most of the time it's like not going to be the outcome you thought.
Mm-hmm.
But it is like acting like it, and then also realizing like God has a plan. So all I have to do is literally show up and desire something, and He'll work the rest out.
Right. Well said. Good.
Yeah.
Here's another one. Do you believe people have aura colors?
Yes.
What do you think mine is?
You have a multitude of auras. So an aura is, have you ever seen a rainbow? Yes.
Yes, I've seen a rainbow.
Okay.
After a rain.
Yo, have you ever seen a Perfect. Okay, so the
Kermit the Frog saying it once to me.
So rain is water, right?
Yes.
And it's like when the light hits the water, it creates that rainbow effect. We are 67% water. I don't know how much. We are light. That's all we are. Our souls are light hitting a water tank, and it just sprays out literally an aura around us. So we're just a rainbow effect. So what color am I? When people are, what color or am I? We're usually all of it. If that makes sense. Well, all it is literally science. That's what an aura is. We have, I would say like the bigger thing is we all like that energy, that aura creates like a frequency off of us. And so the important part of like spiritual work or alignment is imagine it like it's creating like a note off a guitar, and it's making sure your guitar is tuned. So it's like, dude, I'm moving through life. It's all like not the vibe or nothing's harmonizing.
Nothing's going well.
Once you get into your true harmony, that's when it's like exactly what's meant for you is meant for you. And that's when you can just go into trust. It's like, I do my practices, I do my devotions, I take care of myself physically, and mentally and spiritually. All three matter. And then at that point, you'll harmonize with everything exactly meant for you. But you can't change yourself. You're just at your best tone.
Right. So what would be my aura color right now?
Well, I can see your aura.
Okay. Tell
Yellow.
me about it. Yellow?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Tell me.
It's rising up from your solar plexus. So you work off gut.
True, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, nailed it. You nailed
Not
it
working
again.
off your thinking brain. I don't know.
I should be more. Huh? I should be more. All right, let's see. What are some myths about what you do that you want people to know?
Myths?
Yes. There's some myths.
Like, I guess, like untruths?
Yeah, maybe myths that, people talk a lot of myths about like medians and, those type of things.
One, every single thing is true. So believe everybody exactly as they are. Let's see, a myth around tarot. People think tarot is like a devil thing. Tarot actually started in the Catholic Church like forever ago. So it actually came from the church. I'm assuming two churches were like beefing, and then we're like, the tarot card says we have to kill you, and then it got a bad rap or something. I don't know. But tarot actually was like an oracle.
Draw a card.
It was like their game of life where the oracles would come and like work with the royals and church leaders.
Let's think about that. How good would the world be if that's how we handled conflict?
Yes.
We don't pick a card. Let's see what the card says that we're going to do. This is how we're going to handle it. And you just had to listen to it.
And it's just a form of ceremony. And ceremony literally just brings, truth and alignment into everything, even the hardest things. So it is like we just don't have enough ceremony around things. And truly what I do is like creating ceremony around life if I'm taking the time to go inward and feeling into it. What other myths? I don't know. I don't even know.
I see dead people all the time.
I don't see dead people anymore. Usually when a lot of kids that see dead people, their prefrontal cortex is not developed. And so...
But what about connecting with spirits?
It's more like coding and energy-based. But as far as visual, most kids, so if anybody out there has kids that are like, I see things, you can help develop it. But usually by the time it's like puberty, our prefrontal cortex starts to develop. And that sixth sense of like visually seeing more than what's going on. Because there's like spirits on this room. There's more happening in this room. I don't know about this room.
So it's not, it's just...
it's usually not ghosts.
Okay.
There's not as many ghosts these days.
Yeah.
You want to know why? Because collective conscious, like we don't exactly care about ghosts anymore. And did you notice how there's less ghosts?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take your word on that one.
Yeah.
That's not something I really think about. I'm not going to lie. I don't sit there and say how many ghosts are around here because of a good ghost or a bad ghost is really all I care about.
Yeah.
And I don't believe there's any bad ghosts.
Ghosts are residue. And so when I'm doing mediumship, people, a good way to describe it is because sometimes it can be intimidating, feeling like a ghost spirit, for when someone does feel a ghost or energy like that. But, see it as like, if you want to connect with a spirit who's way beyond whatever form that ghost would be, energetically, they have to show up as they are. So it's like you want to connect to grandpa. Grandpa was probably a motherfucker and like a strong person. And you saw it as like, I sat on his lap and had cookies. He's more than that, So it is one of those things of like not being intimidated by human energy because that's what you're trying to connect with.
Right. How do you define energy?
Energy that's all we are. We're not even a solid form. We're just cells and atoms vibrating together.
Yeah,
we're true. Not any. Yeah. It's the only thing we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. All right. So big question for you. How do you recharge your own energy? Because you're charging everybody else's and you're helping them. I mean, who recharges yours? Like, because especially, talking about going through days and sessions with other people, it's draining.
Yeah.
It's going to be mentally draining and physically draining as well.
Yeah.
Like who recharges you? How do you?
I probably take like 2 baths a day. I live a very quiet life. Obviously there's like Instagram and stuff like that. Like all my work looks more like I'm extroverted. I could live alone on an island for 100 years and not think twice about it. I'm so introverted. So I do a lot of downtime. I all the practices I preach on other people, I do. I journal in the morning, I journal at night. I have a therapist, I have my spiritual workers, I have my Reiki master, I have my friend, I have like all like these places that I equally as like support people, I need support as well.
Sure.
And I love going, I at least like try 5 days a week to go. I love lifting and like loud music at the gym. It helps ground my body.
Mm-hmm.
So that, centers me. So it's just it's all the practices. Like I'm not immune to the human experience, and I even more try to respect the human experience.
But living alone on an island by yourself with no communication. You could literally do that for 100 years.
I'm assuming you're an extrovert.
I am a little bit of an extrovert for sure.
Yes.
You know?
So I recharge
100%.
alone, but I have a lot to give. When I recharge alone, I have so much more to give. And then
but if there's nobody around, you're not giving it to anybody. Like you have all this.
That's why I'm not on an island. That's why I'm in Vegas, and I freaking love Vegas.
That's right.
Yeah, for a little bit of time, then I gotta leave.
You don't have to. You have a choice.
I could.
You wake up every day. You have a
Vegas.
chance and a choice. You have a chance for a new day and a choice to do whatever you want to do.
This sounds like a great comedy or a horror movie where someone can't leave Vegas day after day. Groundhog Day with like Bill Murray, but in Vegas. Yes.
Well, it is a choice. You can always stay. I love Vegas too. It's like my second home.
Yeah.
So, and you want to know why I love Vegas? Because actually my ex-wife, she hates it. Because I love
why do you love Vegas? I'm so curious.
It's the energy.
Okay.
I really do. It's the energy, man. The energy here, the people, they're happy. It's, the loud, the sounds, people are excited, some are winning money, some are losing money, but they still got a chance to win back, and everything. But it's just, it's fun. It's just like people are having a good time. They're enjoying themselves. And honestly, the reality is, I came to Vegas for the first 20 years I came was always Christmas night. Good to tell you, good story. Christmas night, I would leave after kids all opened the presents, and Christmas Eve, we put them to bed, and then boom, I was gone for 1 week. I was gone till New Year's.
That's
I spent New Year's in Vegas for 20 years in a row.
Okay, cool.
And the reason was because I worked, 51 weeks out of the year and never shut down, never stopped. So that was a 1 week where I could just come here. And the one thing I love about Vegas, no matter what you want to eat, you want to sleep, you want to try to make money, you want to go have fun, you want to go watch movies, you want to go have some, have a little bit of love. You could do whatever you want, whenever you want.
Yeah.
For that week. So that was what was perfect for me.
That's really
and,
fun.
that was my recharge.
Yeah.
Because it was like, I would, recharge and it helped me. Sometimes I would just sleep because I didn't have to get up and go do anything. I did what I wanted.
And I think that's the beauty of like dualities is like, it is like, okay, I'm a family guy, work guy, responsibility. And it is like that. It is so important to, even when we were talking about earlier, like, kind of being in one track mind of spiritual path, like it's so important to have those dualities. And it is like, it expands us as people, like being like, this is also wonderful and great. And this is a spiritual experience,
Right.
Yeah. I definitely I was like, every time I'm like, I don't like, I in my brain, I don't like Vegas. And every time I come here, I'm like, I freaking love Vegas.
You trying to talk yourself out of it?
I just would never stumble into Vegas unless I came here for a reason. I would never, but every time I just love energy. And the energy here is so weird and wild and fun and funky.
And it's up and down. It's all over the place.
It's like eating an exotic food of energy where I'm like, oh yeah, I remember. And I was like, I'm going to go buy a pack of cigarettes and play slots.
Right.
Yeah.
But you always have a fresh new neighbor too. You can always meet somebody that's new.
I don't like to talk to people.
And all that. You don't like to talk to people.
I won't talk to anybody like that.
You'd be like, no, not here. You'd be probably a good poker player then, huh?
I've never played poker. I used to play blackjack when I'd come here when I was really young for conference work type stuff.
Oh yeah.
But only off of we literally none of us had money, and only until guys offered us to pay for our
I'm sure you
seats.
had a lot of for sure.
Yeah, but I love gambling. I love and I don't really gamble, but I like the gambling of life. I like playing in that way. So I'm sure in a very quantified way, gambling, I would enjoy it, but I have not gotten into gambling yet.
Yeah, well, it's probably good that you don't. It's not.
There's still time.
There's time to have fun with it, but you don't. I don't want to turn it into addiction, and then you'll be like,
I'm not a very addictive person. I wouldn't worry.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I find it hard to believe that you're an introvert. I mean, you speak so well. You're always on point. You're always talking. You got so much to say about so many things. I find it hard to believe you don't like to talk to people. I
don't talk to any strangers. I get shy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just don't like the shy part.
I'm definitely shy.
Yeah.
But it's again, I don't think that's a bad thing. Again,
it's bad. Why would you consider yourself shy? When you walk in the elevator, do you say hello to somebody, or are you the guy one that puts their head down and don't say a word?
I won't talk to anybody.
Nobody.
No.
Look at you, your eyes got all big and gluey. No, don't talk to me.
Yeah, it's just not my natural thing. But I again, when we just started, and you I was like, oh, that's I admire. This thing is let me be me and let you be you, because it's I so deeply admire somebody who just has that ability to just right away connect in and make people like me feel safe and comfortable to be oh, Absolutely. Hey, because it is I need an invitation. I am not I am not like, I guess, quiet.
Yeah.
I'm just shy. So people that are like, come into the invitation, then it's like you feel comfortable. So there needs to be everybody.
Sure.
And if I was yapping at you and we were yapping at me, like it was just
that
like,
means
so
you're comfortable with me. That's good.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's the energy.
Yes.
That's coming off.
Yeah.
It's so good. Kylie had a question for you. I got to ask, got to bring it up. So she wants to know, she said, talk about energy clearing with sage. What's your favorite way to practice this? And do you have something you repeat during the process? Like a prayer, etc.
Yeah.
So
cleansing. I would go into like,
she does that a lot. She'll come in, she'll sage the house and do certain things.
Sage clears all the energy. So high and low vibration. So if you need a reset, Palo Santo clears out like lower vibrations and it's an antibacterial. However, I always just like ethically get it sourced. My probably favorite one is copal. Or, so copal is a tree sap. So it is like the extract that isn't kind of taking from the source. I try to, because I use so much of it, I try to respectfully, use the methods. And then also.
So walk me through the process. So what do you do with it?
Copal.
Yeah.
It's a sap. So you get a coal and then you light it.
Okay,
and I just love the way it smells. And then also my grandma, who's 100 now, she lived out.
She's 100. God bless her.
100, yeah. And
That's
she
awesome.
lived out in a cabin in the middle of the Canadian woods most of her older adult life. And the pine trees there produce a sap too.
Right.
So
That's all they got there is maple syrup in Canada.
So I have the sap of those two. I'll burn sometimes when I just want to like feel that connection to like my lineage. She's a very like poetic, just amazing woman. So yeah, there's tons of different ways to do it. I would always say try out everything and see what feels good. I think, we all are like, oh, am I doing it right? What's right for me? And so if it feels good, you won't mess it up. It's really intention too. Right. And that's where chemistry comes in of like, that feels good to me. For someone else, like, no. So, but sage is great. And I think everybody with their homes or their offices or even self should be clearing themselves daily. 100%.
Really?
Yeah.
So what would you,
almost like no one's around.
Obviously meditation is a big thing.
Yeah.
Right. And unfortunately, I don't take the time to meditate, which, probably should do a little bit more.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, it is a time thing. Is there a certain amount of time that you need to meditate for?
So if you want my real answer,
no, give me the fake one.
Life is a meditation. You should live your whole life in a meditation. This is all one ceremony. We all just did a bunch of psychedelics and ended up in a human body, and you have hopefully maybe 80 years to live it. The whole time you are not leaving the ceremony of life. There's going to be peaks and valleys, just like maybe you can equate it to like sexual energy, how there's like, the flirt, the like peak, the like after. So like life goes through these phases, but meditation would be a more concentrated moment of it. So one, see life as all meditation. Two, if I'm giving like my expert advice, everybody should meditate at least like 3 minutes a day.
3 minutes?
Yeah.
I could do that.
Or 90 seconds. But by the time you sit down, get centered, and drop in, just literally that moment to allow your nervous system, your mind, body, and soul to come online. You want all three working together. So if you're all in your head and you're not tapped into your body or your soul, it's one way. If you're all in your body and ego and kind of like da-da-da and not going into soul or thinking, that's another thing. If you're all soul and you're like, I am barefoot and don't pay my taxes, that's another version. So you want enough time, mind, body, and soul to come together. And then boom, you're online. That is intuition, where all three are working together. So you want to be living intuitively.
So when you're meditating stuff, if your mind is racing and you're thinking about other things, that's probably not a good thing then.
I don't.
How do you clear that?
I don't ever try to quiet my mind. I just, I allow more in. So my mind is racing, but I also realize I'm a soul and I also realize I have a body. So it's like, let the mind race and let it just sit in one place and then expand beyond it. You shouldn't be though like shrinking to the thoughts. I think people want to like, and yes, there's tons of meditation practice where you clear the mind and it's silent. But I like more active meditation where I'm like, I love my mind. I love that it goes hard, but I also want to be bigger than that. So think of it as just like, instead of trying to shrink that part, expanding yourself beyond it. So it's just a small portion of it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Interesting. Do you believe that people can give you bad juju give you the Malok, evil eye. You can give you bad karma, bad aura, and they kind of put a little jinx on you.
There is, I will say before you worry about anybody else, I can promise you are giving yourself the most curses. Every time you talk bad about yourself, every time you go against your intuition, every time you do something that's not good for your body, you're giving yourself the most curses. So before you worry about anybody else.
Tell me I should eat that ice cream.
Yeah, or eat it with joy and not beat yourself up after. Be like,
okay, so I can eat it with joy.
Yeah.
All right, do you hear that, Kylie? I'm just letting you know.
So it's like when we beat ourselves up or when we're hard on ourselves or when we talk negative to ourselves. Again, I've never met someone who has somebody outside of them giving them more curses than themselves. So I'm like, don't worry about anybody else.
That's true.
Worry about yourself.
I never really thought about it like that.
Give yourself blessings every day. So again, it's like that start with self.
Yeah. But when things are going bad, they always kind of, they go, they start snowballing, right? And it gets worse and worse. It just seems like nothing's going right. And
so when that happens, and we've all been there,
what do we do?
Stop, put the hands up, walk away. Whether it's parenting, you're like, da-da-da, I'm walking away, go on a walk. Whether it's in work, it's like, this just keeps having boom, boom. Or I just got in a fender bender and then this deal didn't go through. Just stop and walk away. You're in a bad pattern. You're in the wrong river. Just hands up, go away. Give it a day. Give it, however, a day would probably fix it.
Yeah.
It's just literally walk away from it all. Stop trying at that point. Sometimes we accidentally just start snowballing, and you're rolling and tumbling down the hill.
Right.
Don't be like, why is this happening? Or who pushed me? Literally be like, I have the ability to stop. I'm just going to lay on the floor for a minute and just stop.
Yeah, but sometimes it just seems like everything's happening at once.
Just stop.
This breaks down. Most
of the time, and there's obviously edge cases, most of the time, life can pause for at least 5 hours.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean numbing by I'm going to go take a bunch of shots. Or, you can, of course, do that. But it's just stopping and letting bygones be bygones and be like, I'm in a weird flow. Right. And there's no point in. And if it's happening weekly, you might say, hey, there's some bigger changes that need to take place. But if you're kind of like, okay, I'm in my flow and I'm in a snowball, just walk away for a minute. And within a day, you'll be like, that was a little wild. Why did I let it get that far? And who did I take down in the snowball with me? The point is to not take anybody down with you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. That makes total sense. So tell us a little bit about how we can find you. I know the viewers are going to want to know how they can connect with you. How can they find you? How can they follow you?
I feel like Instagram is always the yellow pages of today. It's a great place to start. I try to keep my community at a price that is affordable. And so that is technically $12 a month where they have me live doing channeling and also
How often is that now?
Twice a week.
Twice a week. So twice a week you're doing, they can subscribe to your channel. It's $12 a month.
Yeah, so that's my private community where there's tons of classes from anything from how to learn tarot to get even certified in Reiki to learn about past lives, to learn about soulmates and twin flames. All those classes are there, meditations, and then I do 2 live aspects a week. Again, one is channeling. So if you're I cannot afford a session, which is what it is, they can ask a question there. And there's also Monday meetups where we just do meditation and manifestation. So
that's awesome.
That's where you can find me.
You mentioned twin souls.
Yeah.
And the comparison between that and the other.
Twin flames. Soulmates.
And soulmates, yeah. Twin flame soulmates. That comes up. What's the difference between the two?
So I think probably a lot of people would have different theories on it. Soulmates are the group of people we're supposed to meet in life. Sometimes they're romantic, sometimes it's friends, sometimes it's family members. It's the people you, just how it's the 5 degrees of separation. I don't know. Our world is not that actually big compared to how did I go across the world to meet somebody? We have our soul family. We have the ones that we're in the same harmony as, that we'll do plenty of lives together. We probably are neighbors up in heaven. And then we have twin flames, where twin flames, at least the energetic part, is it's highlighting all the things that need work within you. And so they can be very expansive, beautiful relationships. But a lot of times it's just destructive or too intense to lean into because it is getting the clearest mirror back at you of all things.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there is a big difference between the two.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at it, because a lot of times people, when they pull them cards, like, oh, okay, this person's your twin flames doesn't mean it's your soulmate.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between the two.
Yeah.
So thanks for clarifying that.
And like a twin flame would be, a lot of people would be like, oh, that person was toxic or that person was, it is like, those are the toxicities within you. Of you can choose to walk away from that person. You can choose to do the work. Even
Why is it so hard that we can't?
Because you could just see it as the universe is constantly evolving. That's its only purpose, is to grow. Individually, we're only trying to grow. So there's a constant refinement taking place. The natural order to want to refine. So the universe is constantly putting everything in front of us, the individual aspects of it, to refine better, to expand, to eventually maybe like trillion, billion years it will contract and everything will want to go the opposite way. But right now, our universe is in expansion. Constantly. So evolution means refinement. So the edges are getting polished. So those sweet, polished edges of people that come into our life that just wreck us, it's evolution.
Gotcha. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Yes.
Is there anything you want to tell the viewers before we leave?
I don't think so. I want to interview you now. This has been like so lovely. I deeply adore you. I adore your family, and
Thanks.
and I just I just love I love your energy.
I appreciate that.
And it's just so special being here. So thank you.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
And there you have it, folks. Another episode of Wham Bam's podcast. And as your boy Wham Bam always says, if your life was a movie, would it be worth watching? And if the answer is no, then stop being ordinary and start being extraordinary. Till next Wednesday, stay positive, baby, and keep testing negative. I'm your boy Wham Bam, and I'm out.